Good morning students. I welcome you all in this new video. So in this video, we are going to discuss the motion of a charged particle in a uniform magnetic field. So basically there are two cases associated with this topic. The case first is that if the charged particle moves perpendicular to the magnetic field, means if the velocity of the charged particle is making an angle of 90 degree with the magnetic field, then how the charged particle's path will be in the magnetic field, what path it will trace, that we are going to see. And second case, we are going to see if the charged particle is not moving perpendicular to the magnetic field, means if its velocity vector is making an angle theta with the magnetic field, then what path it actually follows, the charged particle, what path the charged particle follows. We are going to discuss these two cases in very detail. So let us take first case quickly. So case first is that if the charged particle is entering into the uniform magnetic field perpendicularly. So since here the velocity vector and the p vector both are perpendicular, means there is an angle of 90 degree between these two vectors. And from our previous knowledge, we know that if you have a charged particle which is moving with a velocity v into the magnetic field, then the force exerted by the magnetic field on this charged particle is given by this formula that you have already discussed in our previous video. So here if I open this cross product, then what will I get? I will get q v b sine theta n cap. And since here theta is the angle between v and b, and which is 90 degree. So if I put this value of 90 of theta in this here, then what I will get? I will get simply fv is equal to q vb n cap. Here n cap is representing the direction of this force, and if I take the magnitude of this force, then it comes out to be q vb. So this amount of force is exerted by the magnetic field on a charged particle when it moves. It enters perpendicularly into the uniform magnetic field. You have to remember this point in your mind. Very important point. Now from here, I am going to introduce a notation. So whenever you see this cross in this chapter, then this means this cross represents the direction of the magnetic field, and this means the magnetic field is into the plane, means the direction of this magnetic field is into this page. Okay, means it is in downward direction. So for the downward magnetic field which is going into the page, into this page, we will take this symbol. And for the magnetic field which is coming out of the page, like this is the direction of magnetic field. For this we will introduce another symbol, that is dot. So this is called cross, this is called dot. So cross for the magnetic field which is going into the page, and dot for the magnetic field which is coming out of the page. So now here I have made a diagram, very simple diagram. You can see here. So in this diagram, you can clearly see that I have represented the magnetic field with crosses. It means the direction of the magnetic field is into this page. Magnetic field, let us suppose this tip of this pen is showing the direction of the magnetic field. So this tip is in downward direction, means magnetic field is into the page. Now let us suppose I have a charged particle which is moving perpendicular to this magnetic field, like this. This is the charged particle's velocity. If the velocity of the charged particle is in this direction, then what will be the direction of force? Now, from the definition of cross product, we can easily calculate the direction of this magnetic force. Now, my magnetic field is in downward direction, and the velocity of the charged particle is in this direction. And since here clearly we can see that both are making an angle theta with each other. So from the definition of the cross product, we will use right hand rule here. I have already introduced the right hand rule in my previous video. So what right hand rule says that take your right hand. I have take my right hand. Put your fingers in the direction of V. And since V is in this direction, so I will put my fingers in this direction. And curl your fingers in the direction of B. And since B is in downward direction, V is in this direction. So I will curl my fingers in downward direction. From here to here. So where the thumb is representing? Thumb is representing in this direction. So this will be the direction of the magnetic force. So let me summarize. If the velocity is in this direction, is in this direction, and magnetic field is in downward direction, so you have to put your fingers in the direction of the velocity of the particle and curl your fingers in the direction of the magnetic field. So your thumb will represent the direction of the magnetic force. So clearly we can see that if we have this type of magnetic field which is going into the page and particle is moving like this, if the velocity of the particle is this is the V vector and magnetic field vector is in this direction, so the right hand rule, according to the right hand rule, the direction of the force will be in this direction at this point. If the charged particle is at this point, then the B is in downward direction, velocity vector is in this direction. So again, if I demonstrate this with the right hand rule, then it will be like this. This is the direction of magnetic field in downward direction. This is the direction of the velocity of the particle. So I have to put my fingers in the direction of the V vector and curl my fingers in the direction of the magnetic field. So if I curl so this is the direction of my velocity. Very simple. And in downward direction there is magnetic field. So curl your fingers in the direction of magnetic field like this. So your thumb is representing in this direction. So this will be the direction of your magnetic force. So at this point, magnetic force will be in this direction. If I take this point, then at this point the velocity is in downward, is in this direction. Magnetic field is in downward direction. So the force will come out to be in this direction. So here we can clearly see that this force is perpendicular to the velocity and is pointing into the center. Here this force is perpendicular to this velocity, to the direction of this velocity of the charged particle and pointing into the center. And from the mechanics we can conclude that if the force acts perpendicularly on a particle, then the force will not work on the particle, but it changes the direction of the motion of the particle. So this magnetic force, whose magnitude is QVV, will not work on the particle, but it will change the direction of the motion of the particle. So as a result of this force, we will see a circular path followed by the particle which is entering into the magnetic field perpendicularly. So this is the conclusion, that if we have a charged particle which is entering into a uniform magnetic field perpendicularly, then the force exerted by the magnetic field on the charged particle is given by QVB, and this force is perpendicular to the direction of the velocity of the charged particle, and this force acts towards the center of the circular path followed by the particle. So in case of perpendicular motion, the path followed by the particle is circular, that I have written here. This force acts as a center, and also since this force is making the particle to follow a circular path, and the direction of this force is always along the towards the center. So this force is acting like a centripetal force here. Very important point. And we know that centripetal force is given by mv squared divided by r. So this force acts as a centripetal force and produce a circular motion. This force don't work on the particle, it just changes the direction of the motion of the particle. So this force is your centripetal force, and from the definition of the centripetal force we can say we know that centripetal force is mv squared divided by r. where m is the mass of the particle, v is the velocity of the particle, r is the radius of the circular path. So this force we have already calculated, that is QVB. So QVB is equal to mv squared divided by r. Here v and v gets cancelled out and I get QV is equal to mv divided by r. From here we can calculate the radius of this circular path followed by the charged particle when it enters into the uniform magnetic field perpendicularly. So the r will be mv divided by q. Here mv is nothing but the magnitude of the momentum of the particle. So r is equal to p by qb. Here we can clearly see that r is directly proportional to momentum of the particle. Means if there is a larger momentum of the particle, if particle enters into the uniform magnetic field with a larger momentum, then it makes a bigger circle. Okay, that is very important point. The larger the momentum, the larger the radius, and hence bigger the circle. We can also calculate the time period of this particle. And what is time period? Time period just is the time taken by the particle to complete one round of this circular path. So that is given by time is equal to distance upon speed. So distance is just 2 pi r and speed is v. So 2 pi r divided by v. Here we can put the value of r, that is qb, that is mv by qb. So I will get t is equal to 2 pi m divided by qb. T pi m divided by qb. Very important relation. These are very important relations. You have to keep these relations in your mind. So here clearly we can see that here time period is independent of the velocity of the particle. That is another crucial point. Means if velocity of the particle increases, the time period remains same. Okay, it completes the one round in the same time when its velocity is less or when its velocity is more. No matter, velocity doesn't matter, it takes same time in completing one round of this circular. So another points which we can conclude from here is that since nu is your frequency and nu is inversely proportional to 1 by t time period, so frequency is just reverse of the time period, that is qb by 2 pi m, and frequency is depending upon the b, that is directly proportional to b, magnetic field. If magnetic field is larger, its magnitude is larger, then frequency will also larger. And what is frequency? Frequency is that how many revolutions does a charged particle makes in 1 second. So if v is bigger, then this revolution, the number of revolution will increase. Also we can calculate the angular frequency, that is omega. Since omega is equal to 2 pi nu, so here 2 pi nu is nothing but qb by 2 pi m. Here 2 pi gets cancelled out, so this is qb by m. So omega is this. I am again saying these relations you have to keep in your mind, very important relations. And here omega is directly proportional to b. That is another crucial point. Now let us move on to another case, that is if the velocity of the particle is not perpendicular, means particle's velocity is making an angle theta with b vector, then how the path and what path the particle will trace in this uniform magnetic field. So v is making an angle theta with magnetic field. So if I take two components of this v, that is parallel component, that is parallel to the magnetic field, and perpendicular component, and we know that perpendicular component of velocity makes a circle. We have already discussed, if the velocity is perpendicular, then the particle will make a circle. So this component will make the particle's path to be a circle. But what will be about this component? So since here v is parallel to b, and since we have vb is qvb sine theta, so theta is 0 degree and sine 0 is 0. So if velocity is parallel and if sine 0 is 0, then the magnetic force will be 0. So this parallel component will be unaffected by this magnetic force, but this perpendicular component will make a circular path of the particle. So the combined motion of the particle will be like this. Okay, particle will make a circle and also will go forward in the direction of the magnetic field. So this path is called helical path. So if the particle's velocity makes an angle theta with the magnetic field, then its path will be a helical path. The perpendicular component of the velocity will make a circle and the parallel component will make the particle to move towards the magnetic field. So the combined motion is represented by a helical path. So this is all for today. I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.